defund it because of the abortion factor, which they say is 3%. I don't know what percentage it is. They say it's 3%, but I would defund it because I'm pro-life.
That was then candidate Trump just over a year ago. And while the House GOP is now attempting to make good on that promise, President Trump offered Planned Parenthood a deal. Don't do abortions and keep your federal funding. The organization quickly refused that offering. In moments, we're going to be joined by a representative from Planned Parenthood. But first, to debate the fallout politically, Dana Loesch is host of Dana on the Blaze TV. And Krystal is a senior fellow at the New Leaders Council and the author of the new book. And we're going to tell you all about that book coming up. I don't have the title, but I know it's going to be awesome. Krystal, thank you. There it is, Reversing the Apocalypse. All right. Thank you both for joining us.
Thank you, Shannon.
It's good to have you with us. All right. Krystal, do you think that the president thought they would potentially take this deal? It wasn't floated publicly. Do you think the private conversation, there was any legit chance they'd take it?
No, absolutely not. And, you know, as the president pointed out in those comments, abortion is not core to what they do in terms of the number of procedures. It is about 3% of the procedures that they perform.
I would tell you that the Washington Post, which is not a conservative rag by any stretch of the imagination, gave that claim 3 out of 4 Pinocchios on the lie test and said it was not true.
Well, a number of independent sources have verified it's 3%. About 90% of their patients come in for something other than abortion. So while it's not core to the services they provide, it is core to their values in that they believe that women should have access to the full range of medical care, including abortion. So this analogy is not perfect, but it would be a bit like going to a Jewish hospital and saying, we'll keep giving you federal funding as long as you stop doing circumcisions. It's not the entirety of what they do. It's not even a majority of what they do, but it is important to their values and their belief system.
All right, Dana, a lot of people have no moral objection to circumcision. They do have moral objections to abortion. The country is pretty evenly split on that. And even though federal funding is not allowed to, because of the Hyde Amendment, go to any abortion procedures, you know, there are those who have questions about the fungibility of the money, $500 million in government money that Planned Parenthood gets every year.
Exactly. Well, and to your point, Shannon, if it's only 3%, of the services offered, then what's the big deal about eliminating that in order to continue receiving those valuable taxpayer dollars? To me, it seems like an easy decision to make. But unfortunately, that's a little bit fuzzy math. I think the analogy that has been used before, or rather the example to highlight this, it's like saying you're going to a baseball game to watch baseball, but because you buy a hot dog, it looks like Major League Baseball is just in the business of selling hot dogs. That's kind of that's the bulk of what they do. It's weird in how they count it. And you're right, there are a number of entities out there which says that number is completely false. But more so, Cecile Richards herself said that 86% of Planned Parenthood's revenue comes from performing abortions. This is a for-profit business that should not be receiving as much federal money as they are receiving. And fungibility is a great point with this. This money that is given to Planned Parenthood, $500 million annually, allows them to continue this abortion mill business that they're running. Without that, they wouldn't be able to run the abortion mill business. And you have community health centers that provide the actual full suite of health care services for women. They provide better care, they provide prenatal care, and they outnumber Planned Parenthood 3-to-1 in every single state in the United States.
It's not even a decision.
Let me bring Krystal back into you. Yeah, I mean, are you okay then with the money? Because the plan now that the GOP is proposing is to redirect the money to federally approved and qualified health centers that provide all those things for women, screenings, cancer screenings, breast exams, all those kinds of things, but without abortions. What's your objection?
Well, the problem is that Planned Parenthood operates in roughly 400 counties in the United States. And out of those 400 counties, in 100 of them, there is no other clinic that offers, in particular, access to low-income women for contraceptive services. And one thing that we've seen over the past 8 years is we've actually seen a huge decline in the rate of abortions that's been tied to increased access to contraception. Okay. So in a way here, you're cutting off your nose to spite your face. Right. This has been successful in reducing abortions. If women, and in particular low-income women, don't have access to birth control,
so it's community health centers, we got to leave it there.